To begin with, I will explain what an audiogram is as well as what all of the information on the audiogram means. An audiogram is a visual picture of the softest sounds that your child or a person can hear. Audiograms provide important information for audiologists as well as teachers of the deaf and hard of hearing. First, on the vertical axis, which is right here of the audiogram, this is the level of volume, the loudness or softness that a person hears. The volume is measured in decibels, right here in dB, and the numbers range from -10 and go all the way down to 120. Going to move to a different audiogram. Okay, so the top numbers at the very top are the softest sounds that a person can hear, and the numbers at the bottom are the loudest sounds that a person can hear. Okay, so this means that the farther we move down the audiogram, the louder the sound, the bigger the decibel number, and the greater the hearing loss. Okay. Second on the audiogram, the horizontal axis is the pitch or frequency, and this is how loud or how high or how low a sound is. So the numbers range from 125 all the way to 8,000, and they are measured in hertz. So the number 125 down here on the left side of the audiogram is the lowest pitch sound a person can hear, and each line to the right of this is a higher pitch sound. So, for example, when we think about a low pitch sound at 125 decibels, we're going to think tuba. That's a low pitch sound. But when we think about a mid-range pitch sound, about 1,000 hertz, we're going to think violin. And then for a high pitch sound, about 8,000 hertz, we're going to think flute. Okay? Next, on the bottom right side of the audiogram is what is called a key. And this key is used to help us show what the symbols on the audiogram mean. So for example, for example, we have for the right ear is a 0, and it is the symbol that is used to show the softest sounds that a person can hear with his or her right ear. And it's marked on the audiogram right here. See, the red circles are the right ear. Then the left ear, according to our key, shows us a blue X. Okay? And the blue X is the softest sounds that a person can hear with his or her left ear. And it's marked on the audiogram right here. When a person is tested using their hearing aids, an A symbol is used. And this tells us the softest sounds that a person can hear using their hearing aids. Okay. On the top right side of the audiogram is what it looks like a picture of a mountain, and this is called a tympanogram. And a tympanogram measures the air pressure in the middle ear. The results from the tympanogram help the audiologist to decide if there is a punctured eardrum, or if there is fluid or rocks in the ear, and if the middle ears are working correctly. The system is working correctly. Under the audiogram, you will see a small chart that is the pure tone average, or PTA. This is the average of a person's hearing loss at 500 hertz, 1,000 hertz, and 2,000 hertz. So what we do is we take those numbers and then we add them together and we divide by 3. For example, your daughter's right ear at 500 hertz is 45 decibels, at 1,000 hertz is 55 decibels, and at 2,000 hertz is 65 decibels. We add those 3 numbers together and we get 165. Then we divide by 3. So the reason we divide by 3 is because that's how many numbers we use to add together. And we get the number 55. So in your daughter's right ear, her pure tone average, or PTA, is 55 decibels. We would calculate the left ear in the same way. At the very bottom of the audiogram report is a bigger chart that calculates the speech detection threshold, SDT, or speech recognition threshold, SRT, and the word recognition score, WRS. The word recognition score is also known as the speech discrimination test. And the purpose of this particular test is to identify a person's ability to understand speech when presented at a loudness level that is well above their threshold using single-syllable words. The result is measured, or is presented in a percentage. The speech recognition test is a test that tells us the lowest intensity level measured in decibels at which a person can correctly identify 50% of common two-syllable words such as airplane and baseball. These two-syllable words are also called fondees. Okay, next I'm going to provide you with a summary of your child's hearing loss, hearing levels based after I explain what the degree of hearing loss is, the type of hearing loss, and the configuration of hearing loss means. First, when we're talking about degrees of hearing loss, we are talking about how much hearing loss a person has. So for normal hearing is 0 to 25, and it's represented in this yellow area. Then 25 to 40 decibels is a mild hearing loss. It's represented in this blue area. From 40 to 55 is a moderate loss, represented in this tan area. And then 55 to 70 is a moderate severe loss, which is represented in this orange area. And then 70 to 90 is a severe hearing loss, and it's represented in the purple area. 90 and below, represented in the green area, is a profound loss. Second, the type of hearing loss means what kind of hearing loss does a person have. For example, a conductive loss means that there's a problem with the outer or inner ear. A sensory neural loss means that there's a problem with the inner ear. And a person who has a mixed loss, there's a problem with both conductive and a sensory neural loss. So, for example, if a child or a person has a mixed loss, they're going to have problems with the outer and middle ear and inner ear. We also have what's called a fluctuating loss, and this is a hearing loss that varies over time. Third, we want to consider what the shape of your child's hearing loss across frequencies or tone of the audiogram is. For example, it is important to consider if both ears are involved in the same way, and if the hearing loss slopes favor lower or higher frequencies. Okay, so without hearing aids, your daughter's hearing loss in her right ear starts at 40 decibels, which is in the moderate range, and goes all the way down to 75 decibels, which is in the severe range, between 4,000 and 8,000 hertz. Her left ear hearing loss starts again at 50 dB, and again starts to slope down about the mid-frequency range, about 1,000 to 2,000 in the moderate severe range, and then continues to slope in the higher frequency around 4,000 to 8,000 hertz into the severe hearing loss. Therefore, your daughter's hearing loss is a moderate to severe hearing loss because it starts in the moderate range and goes to severe. Her type of hearing loss is sensory neural bilaterally, which means in both ears. The shape of her hearing loss is sloping because it starts out in the going back to the original audiogram, her hearing loss starts out flat and then gradually slopes in the mid-frequency range and continues to slope down to the severe range. When she is aided, her hearing loss is starting, if I look at it, it's going at 35 decibels and it goes up to 30, down to 35, and then back to 40. So between 500 and 4,000 hertz, she's within that mild range if we go to her mild range, because she starts right here about 35 and then 40, and then 30, then 35, and then 40. So she's within that mild range. Let's see, the gain or benefit from her using her hearing aids will definitely help her to be able to hear speech sounds and to aid her in her speech production skills. According to your child's tympanogram, both the left and right ears are within the normal limits, which lets us know that her middle ear is functioning properly. How long was that one?